welcome back to Triple Goddess Soapery. My name is Angela, and today we are making Mabon, which is one of my Sabbats collection of soaps. And this is the 58th time I have started this intro, so hopefully this one sticks. I got a little further than I would have liked this last time before I realized that my mic was no longer working or my app was giving me an error. So we'll see how this goes. Alright, like I said, this is Mabon. This is the second of three harvest festivals on the Pagan Wheel of the Year. And I have a little information for you about Mabon if you're interested. Mabon is essentially the autumn equinox. This year it takes place on September 23rd. This is, like I said, essentially a harvest festival. Ancient Celts and pagans use this day to give thanks to nature for a good harvest and to pray to their gods and goddesses that the crops would last throughout the winter. There'd be feasts, fires, offerings, sacrifices, basically the usual pagan party. So, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. This is definitely one of my favorite of the pagan holidays. Although I say that about every pagan holiday. I quite like them all. But being a gardener, I think makes it just a little extra special. Here I am now, just getting all my PPE on. Now this is the base recipe that I use for almost all of my soaps, and I am considering whether or not I should have a section on my website to sell some of my recipes, but feels a little, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I want to do that yet, but I'm considering it. But anyway, here we go. So it's my base recipe of soap, and then I've also added some colloidal oatmeal, as well as goat's milk and clay. The goat's milk and clay are in all of my soaps. Going forward, I will no longer be using oatmeal in any of my products because I would like to make my whole line of products gluten free. It's not that important to me that they're gluten free, but I have had customers quite regularly ask to make sure that my products are gluten free before they buy them. So, yeah, so that's the plan. There's no reason, like, oatmeal is good for your skin, don't get me wrong, but colloidal oatmeal is very expensive, and the home maker, no matter how much you grind oatmeal, you will never be able to grind it fine enough so that it is the texture of colloidal oatmeal. It's not possible. So because of that, I don't want all of my soaps to be exfoliating, so I'm just ditching the oatmeal altogether. So for two reasons there. So yeah, so this is Mabon. I've made this soap last year. Last year I used a different fragrance oil, but pretty much the same coloring. And I will say that this year's soap using amber and oak moss, I don't love it, and neither do my customers. I made 20 bars of this soap months ago, and 10 of them went with a wholesale order with some other soaps. And the other 10 bars, I have not sold one of them. Customers smell it, and they smell it, and they just don't love it. And honestly, I don't really love it either. So, I can tell you though, it's amber and oak moss from Windy Point Soap. The fragrance description says amber and oak moss lie beneath tender notes of cashmere in combination with fresh citruses and white flowers bouquet. Now that sounds great, but honestly, I don't think it smells like that. I don't love the smell of it. It's definitely a masculine smell, but masculine not in a good way as far as I'm concerned. So we are going to go back to using the hot apple cider fragrance that I used last year, which I think is very fitting for the soap and the time of year, and it being a harvest festival type soap. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. And last year I used red and green oxide, and because the soap batter was a lot whiter, it definitely gave Christmas vibes. This year, not quite as much for the Christmas vibes, which is okay. I mean, it was not a Christmas soap. But this year we're using just the plain base color, which did darken because of the fragrance oil. So it does darken to a, I don't know, a medium tan color. Then we're also using red ruby oxide and deep green mica, which has a bit of a teal undertone. So those are the colors that I'm using. And yeah, we won't do this again next year. I'm not sure what I'll do with colors next year. I could stay the same. We'll see. But I'm definitely going to go back to using that hot apple cider fragrance that I liked much, much more than I like this. So now that we've got all the soap blended up and we're getting all the colors blended, we will be almost ready to pour. Now, because this soap is one of my Sabbats collection, it also has a gemstone on top. And the gemstone that I am using this year is Tiger's Eye. Tiger's Eye is named for its eye-like bands. It looks like it has tiger stripes, and it's golden in color. Now you can get different tiger's eyes that are in different colors, and I don't really know what the difference is with those stones or if they're even real tiger's eye. I know tiger's eye is in the quartz family, but that's, that's the extent of my knowledge. But Tiger's Eye was carried by Roman soldiers in battle to inspire courage and confidence and protect them from harm. In Chinese folklore, the tiger is associated with protection against evil and was carved into amulets uh, for those purposes. Also, too, Tiger's Eye is known for its luck and its prosperity that it brings. I have a friend whose dad is Chinese, and I have made him many Tiger's Eye bracelets over the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years. He just loves his tiger's eye. Also, in ancient Egypt, tiger's eye was believed to be rays of the sun, and if it was held in the midday sun, it would imbue the wearer with vitality and strength. As well, in modern hedgecraft, tiger's eye is used as protection during hedge riding and can be added to spells and satchels to bring joy, luck, prosperity, courage, and confidence. So, for all of these reasons, I chose to use Tiger's Eye for this soap. If you Google the correspondences for Mabon for different things, you can Google, every Sabbat has different correspondences for gems, stones, flowers, food, colors, and Tiger's Eye is one of the gemstones that pops up when you Google that. So I chose this one for that reason and also because of what it represents and also that it would look aesthetically pleasing on the soap, which it does. If you've made it this far, we are at about the halfway point. I just want to say thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate you. You are the whole reason my channel is a success. I encourage you to click the like and subscribe button if you feel so inclined for more soapy content. I have so many videos saved, and I am slowly working through and editing them and trying to get them posted in a timely manner to share them with you. If you have any specific questions about Mabon or Tiger's Eye, please leave them down below and I will try to answer them as best as I can. And also, if you have any soap making questions, please feel free to ask. If you have any suggestions or comments on things that you would like to see, I would love to see those comments as well. Now that we're getting into spooky season and the Christmas season, I have made all but 2 of my Christmas soaps. So you're going to start seeing those videos pop up for my Halloween and my fall soaps, the rest of them, as well as the Christmas stuff. So that's kind of fun. I will also be doing some restocking of, I don't know, things like lotion bars and a few other things for the markets that are coming up. I have, counting this weekend, I have 4 more markets planned. 2 of them are 3-day markets. So hopefully lots and lots of inventory will be sold. I also made last night some witches cauldrons that you'll probably see in my YouTube posts as well as on my social media. So those were fun to make. Already have ideas for next year on how I can improve those or make them fancier or more fun. All right, so we have the soap. Honestly, it's been so long since I made this, I don't really remember how quickly the batter thickened to let me mold the top. I think it was average. It wasn't a super accelerating fragrance by any means, but it definitely thickened up fast enough that I wasn't waiting around too long. So here we go. I'm just going to place all my gemstones, and you can't see it on the screen. And I mention this in all of my videos that I have to place embeds. My boxes have burn marks in them for each line of my multibar cutter. So what I did was is I took the box, the empty box, and I laid my multibar cutter wires on top of it, and then I marked all the lines with a pen. Then I took a wood burner and I burned all those lines in I don't know, 4 or 5 of my different boxes. That way I would never have to worry that I would do something like this and then it would be off center. See, you can see the lines there on the box. So yeah, so basically I'd never have to worry that my gemstones or my embeds would be off center and that I wouldn't be able to cut my soap the way I wanted to cut my soap. And it's worked perfect every time, knock on wood. I haven't had any issues. I do recommend though doing it outside because wood burning is very smelly, or doing it somewhere where you have lots of good ventilation. Even in my soap studio, I do have proper ventilation in my ceiling and it still isn't enough. I would still prefer to do this outside. And these are a nice sized gemstone too. I was quite happy with the quality. So here you go. And actually it looks like one of those is not a tiger's eye. I can't really remember, but I guess one of them must have I must have been one short, so I used something else. All right, just gonna give them a little push around, make sure they're all good in there. Also, too, when you're using gemstones, they're really heavy, so you definitely need to wait longer than you might think you do, just so they don't fall into the soap. So isn't he pretty? He's a he because he is a very masculine smelling and masculine looking soap. Alrighty. And now we're gonna give her a cut. Give him a cut. And there's the top. I didn't steam this or anything, and it's looking pretty good. Not really any soda ash, maybe a little bit. I do believe some soda ash did develop later on though, and I did end up having to steam the bars a little bit just to make them shiny and pretty again, which is no big deal. It's super easy. And there's the cut. And this is what he looks like on the inside. So you get a pretty good swirl there. The green is not too green, which I guess is the reason I chose this color this year, was because last year it was it definitely had Christmas vibes, and I didn't want that this year. So I did use the deep sea green, which is a little, like I said, a little more teal, not quite as Christmas green. I will say though, if you're in Canada and you don't want to like waste a ton of time and money and shipping costs trying to get trial by fire from Mad Mica, I really like red oxide in soap. I like this shade of red. I think it looks great for Christmas red. You could add just a titch of fuchsia, like some kind of hot pink or neon red to it to brighten it up a little bit if you wanted to. But I find oxide red and oxide green do an amazing job for Christmas colors. That's just my 2 cents worth. Um, After making this soap last year with those colors, you can see the soap is definitely tan. It's not too bad, but it's not nearly as light colored as it was last year. Alrighty, I'm just gonna say thank you again for watching, and we will be back again soon with more soapy goodness. I hope you have a fabulous day. Thanks again.
Actually, what I could do